You only need to use this oil 1 to 3 times a week for extreme hair growth to get thicker, fuller, and longer, super healthy hair. The first thing you need is a double boiler of any kind. It's using a pot with a pan on top, and our first ingredient is avocado oil. Avocado oil is perfect for all hair types because it is like a medium density oil. It's not super thick, it's not too light either, it is just perfect. So we are using 1/3 of a cup of pure avocado oil. It is not non-scented or scented, whatever. It is just pure avocado oil. You're looking for cold pressed avocado oil, nothing else, no refinement done to it. Next, I'm using rosemary, and I'm using the rosemary leaves. This is dry rosemary. You can absolutely use fresh rosemary, only if you're going to keep the oil for a short time. I'm using a full tablespoon. Now, if you're going to use this very quickly, you can use fresh rosemary. I actually prefer it. However, it is extremely hot where I am right now, which already shortens the shelf life. And I'm currently only using oil once a week right now. So I need my oils to last a while, so I will be using dry rosemary. So what you want to do is make sure that it is fully submerged into whatever oil you're using. You don't have to use avocado oil despite how good it is. You can use olive oil, you can use any other carrier oil, but this is the oil that's going to be the base and that's going to heat up. So if you're going to add any other carrier oils, don't add them here. Just use one oil for this portion because heat always has the potential to slightly damage any kind of nutrients that are in an oil. So just use one. I let that simmer for 10 minutes, and as you could see, it did not boil or fry at all. Then you want it to cool for a couple hours with a lid on so nothing falls in. Don't worry, it's not going to steam up. It's oil, even though it has water content, it's not that much to steam up. So once it is cold, you want to decant it into a glass jar. If you don't have anything glass, then you can go ahead and go for something plastic, but glass is always the best option. If you have a tinted or dark brown glass, that would even be better. So this was actually the same day, a couple hours later, maybe 5 hours later. Then I decided to decant this bit into this jar, which is going to be my base for whenever I want to make a little bit more oil. Now for the oil we're actually using in the hair, we are starting with my new favorite carrier oil. It is camellia oil. This is the Oshima Tsubaki camellia oil brand. Well, Tsubaki is camellia oil, and it's the one that's made in Japan. You can get this on Amazon. I will link everything in the description box below. So camellia oil is our first oil going in the bottle. It is extremely rich in nutrients and it is directly extracted from the camellia seeds in a cold pressed fashion. So if you're looking for a pure camellia oil and it says refined or processed, something like that, stay away from it. Go for cold pressed. That would be the best quality camellia oil you can find. So it helps prevent damaged hair and it really revives dry, damaged looking hair. It is also amazing on the scalp because it promotes great scalp health by one, promoting very healthy follicles because it is very similar to the natural oils that we actually produce on our scalp. So it can easily seep into those follicles and promote the optimal follicle growth rate and health of your individual follicles on your scalp. It can actually help increase your hair's density because if you have damaged follicles, it can help revive them. If you have hair that's growing at like half the thickness because of your damaged follicle, your hair is going to start growing at the full thickness, meaning your hair is actually going to visibly look thicker and shiny. So you want to make sure you take that little bit out because it's actually going to make it very difficult for you to pour into the bottle. I do not have a little funnel, so I decided to just put it in a little cup in case I spilled any, but it's actually easy to pour. I didn't spill, and you want to fill the bottle about a quarter of the way. And then next, we are going to put in some rosemary essential oil. It has been compared to a 2% minoxidil and it has been shown to be just as effective or even more effective with little to no side effects. Now, rosemary oil is one of the only essential oils that can actually help boost the nerve growth. It also prevents premature graying, promotes hair thickness as well. It also stimulates the scalp. It just doesn't have a strong physical feeling like peppermint oil, but it still has a strong stimulation factor. It also has anti-inflammatory properties, which means that your follicles are going to be in great shape. So for the rosemary, I'm actually putting 3 droppers full because I want this oil to be pretty strong. It's straight for the scalp. If this is your first time using rosemary oil, I'd say put only 1 dropper full, see how it feels, and then you can go ahead and add maybe one more and then a third dropper full. Also, when I say a dropper full, I mean the amount that you get when you squeeze it out, which is like half a dropper. Then peppermint oil. It's one of the strongest oils for scalp stimulation. You can physically feel it. It's like you brushed your teeth on your scalp. It's like super tingly. And then because of that stimulating feeling on the scalp, it also increases blood flow to the area. And that tingling sensation also helps widen your blood vessels to allow more blood to go to your scalp. It can also wake up dormant follicles. Now, here's one thing to note. We are all born with a certain number of follicles on your head, and you cannot increase the number of follicles that you were born with. However, some of us and many of us have a lot of dormant follicles. So you're not creating new follicles, they're just there and they're just sort of dormant. The peppermint oil can actually help wake up those dormant follicles. So now you actually have literally more hairs on your head, and that's how it makes your hair thicker. So for the peppermint oil, we are putting only 2 droppers full because it is very tingly and very stimulating. So now we are adding some of that oil that we made earlier on, which is the one that's sitting in the bottle, the rosemary and avocado oil. Now, I know you might be thinking, why do I need to use the actual rosemary leaves and then the rosemary essential oil instead of just using one? You can absolutely only use one. However, I find that I maximize the benefits by getting from both the rosemary fresh sprigs infused into the oil and also the essential oil, so that just works better for me. So once the oil is like that, all you need to do is shake it up, and shake it up every single time before you use it because the oils are at slightly different weights, so you just want to make sure. As you can see, it's a super really lightweight oil that anyone can use. Now I'm scraping off those stems of rosemary that I strained out and putting them back into this oil because this is already my base. And sometimes what I like to do is if I'm going to keep this oil for like a month or two, I just add a little bit more oil into that jar and just let it sit in a dark cupboard and continue to infuse for a while I'm using the one that's already in the bottle. So it kind of has the same effect as heating it up because it's just sitting in oil for weeks. Now, when it comes to how to use it, I use this oil the same way I use any of my scalp oils. I put it directly onto my scalp. I do not actually put this on my hair shaft because I like to use other oils for my hair shaft. You can use this on your hair, but the scalp is where I get the best results. So after I put the oil all over my scalp, not too much, I always go in with a scalp massage because it just maximizes the benefits of any single oil that you use if you go ahead and use a scalp massage. I use this currently once a week. Sometimes I use it 3 times a week and I do not wash it out. I leave this in my hair until my next wash day. But if you don't like the oily hair feeling, you can just do this a couple hours before or the night before you wash your hair. And for a quick recipe recap, we are warming up 1/3 of a cup of avocado oil. This is unprocessed pure avocado oil, double boiler method style. To that, we are adding a full tablespoon of dry rosemary sprigs. You can use fresh if you like, and you plan to finish it up soon. Mix that up until it's submerged. Leave it to simmer for 10 minutes. Put it aside in a jar, and then add 1/4 of the bottle with camellia oil, 3 drops of rosemary oil, 2 drops of peppermint oil, dropper fulls, by the way. Then the oil that we put aside to fill the rest of the bottle, and then shake that up. It is ready to use, thin enough for every single person, hair type, and hair texture. See you in my next video. Bye!